everyone. I, Ritika Agarwal. This is the second video we are uploading on transpiration. Basically, in my last video, I have talked about what is transpiration, the modes of transpiration, and the factors that affect the rate of transpiration. In this video, we will be dealing with the experiments that have proved or that are related with the transpiration. So the first experiment that we are going to discuss today is basically to demonstrate that water vapor is released during transpiration from the aerial parts of the plant. So when we discuss or when we talk about an experiment, we need to know the aim, what are the things that is material required in that experiment, how it is done, that is the procedure of the experiment, and what we observe after the setup is done. So basically we start with the first thing, that is aim. To demonstrate that water vapor is released during the transpiration. Very easy and very quick experiment that can be done and show that water vapor is released during transpiration. What is the material required for this experiment? We require a well potted plant, a polythene bag, and we require some cobalt chloride paper. Okay, so now we begin with the setup. As you can see, I have done two setups in my experiment. Okay, the setup one is experimental setup and number two is control. Now you will think, what is control and why we have done the control? Basically, control is very important and it helps to compare and prove our main aim of the experiment. In this control, you can see the leaves are absent, and this will actually help us to prove our experiment which is to be done. Okay, so you can see in the experimental setup we have taken a well potted plant which is covered with a polythene bag, and in a control only a pot is covered with a polythene bag. No leaves or no plants are present in there. Both the setup will be kept in sunlight for 1-2 hours. After the setup is kept under the sunlight for 1-2 hours, what will we observe? We will observe that in experimental setup some water droplets appear. How we can see that water droplets? You can see when a plastic bag gets wet with the water, a transparency can be seen. Similarly, over here also, when leaves transpires, the water droplets are released and it condenses to the size of the polythene bag. But in the control, you will not see any water droplet. So we can conclude from this experiment that water vapor is released during transpiration, and this is the most easiest experiment to prove that water vapor is released. Now we have talked about cobalt chloride paper. What will the cobalt chloride paper do? As we know, cobalt chloride paper will act as an indicator over here. What is an indicator? What is an indicator, you might be thinking of? Indicator is basically maybe a chemical or a substance that helps to detect the change that take place in a reaction or in a surrounding. Basically, we have talked, we know many indicator, but over here we are using cobalt chloride paper, which is a blue color. Okay. When we place a cobalt chloride paper, actually the cobalt chloride paper is set before where the polythene bag is tied up to the plant, and when the droplet is released, the color of this cobalt chloride paper changes from blue to pink. This indicates that on absorbing moisture, that is on absorbing the water released from the plant, its color of the cobalt paper changes to pink. But when we have kept a cobalt chloride paper in a control setup, we see no color change. So cobalt chloride paper is a moisture indicator. When it absorbs moisture, color changes and indicate that water vapor is released. Similarly, without cobalt chloride paper also we can compare that when the plant transpires, water is released and it condenses to the size of the polythene bag. Why we have used polythene bag? This might be a question. Yes, I will tell you the answer. This polythene bag will not let the water vapor evaporate into the atmosphere. It will keep it inside, and on observing or on seeing the polythene bag, we can see or we can note, yes, the water vapor is released during transpiration. Now we are going to discuss on the second experiment which is related to the chapter, that is measurement of water loss during transpiration. Okay, before I start with this experiment, let me make it clear. This can be done by two methods. The first one which we will talk about is by weighing method. Okay, and the number two is proton meter method, which I will discuss after this. Okay, so what do you mean by weighing method? Obviously, by the name you can understand, I have to weigh it using a measuring cylinder or something, because a water loss has to be measured in amount, otherwise we cannot guess or detect how much water is lost during transpiration. So in this experiment, what we require: a test tube, oil, very important, oil, water, and a leaf, only the shoot part of the leaf without any root. I will explain you why we have only taken the shoot part of the leaf. Okay, now I begin with the experiment. What I have done, I have taken in a test tube, I have put some water, then a layer of oil, I have put the shoot. Why I have not taken the root? This might be the question of yours. The root is the part of the plant which is involved in the uptake of the water. If I have taken a rooted plant, what would have happened? It would have constantly absorbed water, and I would be unable to measure the amount of water lost during transpiration. So this was my main reason to take the shoot of the plant. Okay, now the second question that might arise in your brain, that will be oil. Why suddenly we have taken oil? Oil is taken to prevent the evaporation. If we have not taken the oil, evaporation would also occur, and the correct amount of water loss would not be detected. So that's why this oil over here is used to prevent the evaporative loss of water and help to detect the correct value of loss of water. Okay, so what we have done before starting the experiment, we have done after the setup, what we have done is that we have taken the test tube as it is and kept it in a beaker and measured it in a digital measuring unit. After measuring it, we have taken out the test tube from the beaker, kept it in a test tube holder in a straight position for a few hours. After the few hours is over, what we have done, again we have taken the test tube intact with this setup in a beaker and again measure it. The amount which will be shown will be the amount lost during transpiration. Remember one thing, since the root is absent over here, so the absorption of water is not been done, and the amount of water loss will be much lesser than compared to the plant which have root along with it. So basically what we can conclude, that through this experiment we can conclude that some amount of water which is lost during transpiration can be measured and calculated. So we have discussed two experiments till now. This is a continuation of experiment number 2, that was to measure the amount of water lost during transpiration. I previously also have said that it can be done by two methods. One was by weighing method, the second was potometer method. Now I am going to discuss the second method, that is by potometer method. Before we go into the details of this method or experiment, let us understand what is potometer is. So potometer is basically a device that measures the amount of water intact. Remember, it measures the amount of water intact by the plant, okay, and it does not measure the amount of water lost. So basically you might be thinking, if it measures the amount of water intake, how can we calculate or how can we see the water is lost? Obviously in the first video I have said there is a maintenance of water lost and water absorbed. So with that principle we will use this device. Okay, one more thing which I would like to share with you is that we can remember the word potometer's definition by that proton can be means drink and meters to measure. So the amount of water that the plant drinks is measured through this device. Okay. Okay, so now I will be telling you the aim. We know that to measure the rate of transpiration by observing the rate of water uptake by leafy shoot using Gagon's potometer. This is the name of the device that we are using for measurement of water. Okay, don't get confused by seeing this diagram. It's very simple to understand, and remember, questions come from these parts. So be particular with this topic. Okay, So you can see this is a diagrammatic representation of the experiment. Okay, so I'll begin with this beaker. What is there in this beaker? The beaker consists of colored water. I will be explaining the role of each of the thing present in the used in this experiment. Then you can see a bent capillary. Why a bent capillary? Bent capillary is basically dipped inside this colored water. Then we have a air bubble. Before starting the experiment, remember it very clearly, before starting an experiment, the air bubble is never present. We have to introduce this air bubble during the experiment. Okay, so but for explanation I have drawn from before, air bubble is been introduced during the experiment. A scale is given. By a scale, obviously it will indicate the volume lost by the transpiration method. Then we have a reservoir. What does a reservoir do? Reservoir means storage. So basically we have stored water, and it will be required in the later part of the experiment. When I'll proceed, I'll tell you in details. This is a stop clock. Stop clock, what does a stop clock do? It stops passing the fluid into this capillary, and whenever we open this stop cock, the water will start flowing from the reservoir. What we have in this is we had the colored water in the beaker, remember, and the normal plain water in this capillary. Over here we have a twig of a plant. It can be any plant. Remember, we have cut this twig with the help of a scissor. We only need the shoot, we don't require the root over here. Okay, this was the requirement of the experiment, or the materials required for the experiment. Now I have also explained the procedure, how it has been arranged. One more thing which I would like to share with you is that this air bubble is introduced during the experiment. While doing the setup, no air bubble is present. Your question might be that how this air bubble is introduced. It's very simple. Remember, when we lift this bent capillary from the colored water beaker, automatically due to a pressure, air bubble gets inside this capillary. And again, when the air bubble is introduced, we suddenly dip this capillary inside the colored water again. Why do we need this air bubble? We need air bubble. With the movement of the air bubble, we can detect, or we can calculate the volume of the water loss, because the plant will constantly absorb water, and it will create a force for the air bubble to move. What will be your observation? Okay, so what can be the observation of this experiment? It is very simple to understand, very simple to remember too. Okay, the observation will be that when we keep a air bubble, or when the water is lost, so there is a suction force created. Due to this suction force, what happens is that the water intake, plant has to intake water from the stem, or with the help of a stem, so that it can compensate the loss. When this suction force forces a plant to take the water, what happens is air bubbles moves, and a reading is recorded in the scale. Through this reading in the scale, we can understand the volume of water lost. Okay, so what is the conclusion, or what can be the inference of this experiment? The inference is very simple, that the water lost during transpiration can be measured by the water taken up by the plant. You might be thinking, why do we need to do the experiment? Obviously, we cannot verbally or think and say a value that this amount of water is lost. A proof has to be given, and this is the best method to show the amount of water lost during transpiration. One more thing, remember, a question comes from the part, what is the function of the reservoir, or what does a air bubble do? The function of the reservoir is that when we need to reset the experiment, that is, when we need to bring back the air bubble to its original place, we do this by opening the stop clock. The water stored in the reservoir pushes the air bubble to its original position, and the experiment can be done again. Okay, number two things which I want to say, obviously you might be thinking that Gagnon spectrometer has all advantages, very easy to do, but there may be limitation associated with protometer. The first thing is that the twig which we have used in this experiment may not be alive for a long time. Number 2, the introduction or the involvement or to introduce air bubble is not very easy task. Number 3, that if any outside temperature or parameter changes that is related to transpiration, this experiment will not give a proper result. The 3 experiments mainly that comes for your board questions. Mainly you will get direct experimental questions or part by part questions come. So be careful while answering questions. Study the observations and inference of 3 of this experiment. What is the function of the materials used, like oils, your water or air bubble or reservoir? These are very important questions and very easy to answer these questions. I will be uploading this video and hope you will like it. Please like my video, share it and do subscribe it.